Hey again guys, Mist here. Just wanted to give an update kind of where my character's at after another 3 days of playing. And then a lot of folks have been popping into my stream kind of asking, how do we heal the first dungeon? How do we heal the tower dungeon? Unfortunately, I haven't really recorded or streamed the first dungeon in a while, I think. I was looking through my VODs and I can't find anything. However, I spent, 18 hours alone yesterday in the tower dungeon, so this video, first little brief part, will be just kind of a gear update, and then we'll go into a quick tower kind of walkthrough overview of one of the runs that we did yesterday, just chosen at random. So yeah, we'll jump into it. Gear wise, I hit 10k CR, which is awesome. I did kind of stop caring about equipping absolute, end game bisque gear to get this 10k CR, just because I didn't want to be the last motherfucker on the server to get there. So there are some definite dead rolls on the pristine items. So for example, like shadow res, there's literally nothing in the game that this is even important for, as far as I'm concerned. There is like the shadow touch, or the whatever the cast that the mobs do in the tower dungeon, so maybe this helps a tiny little bit, but I don't PvP, so dead roll there. This neck I've literally had since, like, I swear the moment that I hit 25 I looted this thing. Just cannot find anything better. Again, shadow res on the chest. This thing I looted as well out of tower, just haven't found anything better. Regen on the shield, pretty much a dead roll. You would want really anything else here. Frost res on the weapon, you'd want pretty much anything else here as well. There's no int on it, so it's a little bit of a letdown. And then an otter ring and a dolphin ring, so willpower, int rings, solid rings. No really good third roll though. Excuse me. Then hands have meditate, which is fine. Another frost res roll, or a res roll, actually just terrible. These are really solid though. These are really, really good. Probably one of my best pieces. Health is a phenomenal third option, or a third stat option. And then the triple rolled boots that I got for an absolute steal. So shout out to whoever sold me these for cheap. Definitely appreciate you. So kind of the stat grand total at the moment is around 730 will, 566 int, around 400 courage. Fully buffed, these numbers are obviously very different. My mage has a ton of willpower, so I get up into like 900 intelligence, like right over that 900 thresh point with the pally buff as well. Around 800 willpower or something like that. I can't really remember what this goes to, but it's like around 800, and then the courage remains around 400. So here are the rest of the skills, just for an update, just to show you that I haven't really spent points anywhere else. From the last video, kind of focus more on doing damage, just because my group finally allows for it. So yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and jump right into a quick little, overview of the tower dungeon. I'm going to walk through the different pulls, different mechanics, different things to look out for, how to handle things. I believe it took us about 7 minutes to clear this, so the video will be an additional 7 minutes from here, and then, we'll all go enjoy our Saturdays. So, this first pull, the scary mob in this pack is a sorcerer. These horrors that you see around the sorcerer, these things, you can CC them, so early on we were CCing too. Your first time in here, it's probably not a bad idea to CC as many mobs as you possibly can, so probably do that. The sorcerer, actually, we're going a little bit too fast, let me rewind. The sorcerer, before it dies, will put a stacking debuff on the tank that you must dispel as a cleric. Especially if your tank is somewhat under geared, this thing absolutely shreds, guys. So dispel it 2 stacks. If you want to, you can even dispel it 1 stack, and your tank will probably love you for life. So each time an additional stack gets applied, the shadow volley or shadow bolt that the sorcerer does more damage. So must dispel. The other thing to note here, these horrors aggro tables, if your tank isn't tab targeting to them and gaining aggro on all of them, your healing, the very first heal that you throw on your tank, whether it be a rejuvenation or a flash heal or a big heal, anything, it's going to pull aggro. It's going to pull aggro on all of those horrors. You got to be really careful here. So my idea here is the tank uses shield wall on the first pull, and you just make sure that you're using blessed shield on him on cooldown. And you're really trying to avoid healing him as much as possible. Now, if you're under geared, you're gonna have to heal him. You can see that I have to heal Scourge here. Scourge is a very, very geared paladin. So you're gonna run into scenarios where you've got to heal. You're gonna end up pulling aggro. This is where things like Blessed Shield on yourself, Divine Prayer, and your Fear are going to come in handy. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna pull horrors. It's going to happen multiple times throughout the dungeon. Just kind of deal with it. Your mages can help you with Frost Nova. You can fear them, and just make sure you're healing yourself and shielding yourself. Now, this pull here, let me rewind it a little bit. Sorry, we're going a little bit too fast for me to talk through everything. So there's 2 loyalists in this pull. Typically, the mage is going, if you're running with 1 mage, the mage will CC the top one, the ranger will CC the bottom one, or if you're running with 2 mages, then the mages will just call top bottom, or however you want to do this, left, right, whatever makes the most sense to you. So these 2 loyalists get CC'd, and then you kill the horror and the guard. I don't know if in this run Scourge walks up to pull this other mob. Don't do that until you're geared and you know that you're not going to die. So you can see that we've CC'd both loyalists. Our DPS are killing the horror. We're killing the guard. Very little healing in this pack. I probably don't have to heal Scourge at all here, but again, this guy's 10k and he's played the game a lot. He's very good, very geared. So just keep in mind that when you're doing this with an under-geared tank, you're gonna have to heal, okay? And you might pull aggro on a loyalist, which means just make sure you have Blessed Shield on yourself. If you're always shielded, you're really not too concerned about dying. It's just when you're not shielded, that's when you can die. So we're finishing up the loyalists here. These mobs are pretty simple. The only thing that you really have to worry about here is they do 4 different casts, I think. They do a lesser heal, a stun, a fireball, and a shadow cast. The shadow cast is a curse. It can be dispelled by mages. It reduces attributes. The fireball can be dispelled by clerics. It just does damage. The stun can be dispelled by clerics. It just stuns, doesn't do a whole lot. And then the heal, obviously, you want to make sure it doesn't heal. Okay. Important thing that you see here. We're about to pull the dragon boss. This is the first boss of the dungeon. What I'm doing before we pull, obviously, first thing is making sure that everyone has the blessing on them, so increased health, the equivalent of fortitude in this game. Then I'm pre-hotting everybody in my group, just because I want to make sure that they're topped, and this will carry over slightly into the first mechanic of, depending on what the first mechanic is, it might carry over, it might not, it's whatever, may as well do it. And then I will always, always, always shield myself pre-pull. That way I'll be able to get another shield pretty quickly, right? And shielding on this fight is really important because there are things that will make you, lose control of your character, such as stuns and fears. And then there's also a lot of group damage. Thankfully, I'm running with 2 mages and they don't really take too much damage. I don't have to worry about them. But if you are playing with a ranger that, or you're playing with new people who haven't been in here, you're going to have to heal them probably, right? Until they get the flow of mechanics down. So, all right, we pull the boss. You can see I'm targeting the boss to understand what's going to come out. The first thing that comes out is the stun, okay? So this is going to stun our whole group. Really, all I want to do before this is just make sure, 1, I have a shield on myself. And in the most ideal world, I would make sure I have HOTS on my players. I'd make sure I have HOTS on all the groups, or on the group members. And I currently do not have HOTS on all of them. Actually, yes, I do. Just kidding. We're good. So the HOTS are going to heal them up. I know Scourge, after that mechanic, the very first thing that happens after the boss stuns on opener, if he stuns on opener, sorry, let me rewind this, my bad, I don't want to confuse people. If boss stuns on opener, next mechanic is a greater flame blast on the tank. So what I want to do there is I want to make sure that I am using my pain suppression. I forget what it's called in this game. I want to make sure that my tank is pain suppressed to reduce the damage from the greater fire blast that's about to absolutely own him, right? So I do that. He's pain suppressed. I'm healing the group. I target the boss to see what mechanic is coming next, and I see that it's greater fireball volley. So what I want to look for here is that I have a check. I kind of have like a check down list or a checklist that I have to do. 1, do I have HOTS on the whole group? The answer currently is no. I'm missing HOTS on my tank. But I have HOTS on everyone else, which is fine, right? Because I know that I'm going to heal the tank. Check down 2 is, do I have shield on myself? Because this fireball volley does 2,500 damage or something equivalent to that. It's close. Close to 2,500 damage. If I don't have a shield on myself, I'm going to be really low. And then there's another mechanic that happens after the fireball volley that could kill me. Whether it be a fear into a stun or a stun into a fear and I can't heal myself. So I want to make sure that I have Blessed Shield on myself, which I do currently. And then the third thing is there someone else I can throw Blessed Shield on to make sure that I save them? I know my mages are going to be safe. I'm pretty sure my tank's going to be safe. Let's see if I throw a Blessed Shield or not. It's probably just going to be reapplied to me, and it was. It was simply just reapplied to me, which is fine. And then the boss does a stun, right? So we know that we're all going to be stunned. And then after the stun, he does a fear. You can see that I've used Fear Ward on myself, the thing that makes me immune to fear, so that I can dispel my tank to make sure that he's not in danger. So basically the takeaways of this fight, you got a string of mechanics that can happen a little bit differently depending on spell queuing. At least it's never been the same for us. And it can go stun, fireball, fear, or it can go fireball, fear, stun, fireball. Okay, so unless I am mistaken in this, which I could probably find video to substantiate at least, the boss has a pretty like unforgiving spell queue system where you just have to feel it out based on, you know, if you're a cleric and you're not targeting the boss often, it's going to be really hard. So my big takeaway here is 1, use Blessed Shield on CD. 2, make sure you're using your external on your tank. 3, target the boss as much as possible so you can understand the flow of mechanics. And then I guess lastly would just be really try to get down that fear immunity, because if you're fear immune yourself and you're behind, it's a really good time to catch up because there's no mechanics for like 4 seconds. Plus you can dispel one player like your tank to make sure that he's self-sufficient. So there's the takeaways for that boss. This next pull is probably the scariest trash pull in the entire dungeon in my opinion. It does the most tank damage. You cannot CC them. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of damage, but that's pretty much it. If your tank doesn't miss his hits on them, you're fine. If your tank does miss a hit on them though, there you go. One of these Minotaurs is going to charge to one of your DPS and absolutely hit them in the face. It does a lot of damage. So if you're under geared, you might die, which is okay. Just release and run back and go again. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty quick pack. You can see, guys. Also, just as a disclaimer, my group is exceptionally, insanely geared. Okay. So these packs are dying really fast. I just unfortunately don't have footage of the clears when we were not very geared. So, you know, forgive me here. But yeah, you can see that I ended up healing Scourge here, I think. So I ended up getting aggro of a couple horrors. Even though I swear I didn't heal him, apparently. That's funny. That's what we call comedic timing right there. That is good. But yeah, these horrors, they just fucking hit people and they put a debuff on you. Each one of those stacks that you can see on Scourge right now and myself is 2% reduced attributes. Excuse me, sorry guys. Not feeling too hot. So yeah, each time you get hit, minus 2% attributes. This pull is very similar to the, you know, the first and the second pull in the dungeon. You're going to see Scourge essentially walk in and start face tanking the sorcerer. We kill the sorcerer first. If you are in an undergeared group, I would strongly suggest killing the horrors first. Because what's going to happen is your cleric's going to have to heal, and then these horrors are going to end up hitting your cleric. That is not good. Whereas the tank can tank the sorcerer and the cleric just dispels the tank on the debuffs. It's a lot less overall damage. So I would suggest killing the horrors first. Obviously, my group kills the Sorc first because it doesn't really matter what we kill. But yeah, I would suggest killing the horrors first if your group is undergeared. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit because we have some downtime here of buffing and killing the horror and stuff. So this boss is the, you know, the ultimate boss in the dungeon. So he does really just 2 mechanics, okay? He really just has 2 mechanics that you need to worry about, in my opinion. And I think there were some change logs, or there are going to be some changes coming to this boss around the time that I post this video. If that's the case, I'll maybe update something in the comments, but really there's two things you're going to look for on this fight. One is going to be the debuffs. It's going to tell you a story as well in the fight, okay? But the debuffs are... actually, one sec. Let's go back a little bit further. This boss ramps in damage the longer he's alive, okay? So the longer he lives, the scarier he gets, the more damage he does, the more likely you're going to die. So kill this guy very quickly. Anyway, two mechanics. One, purple debuffs. Look for those. They need to be dispelled by your mages. Prioritize the tank first. Very important. Then prioritize like one of the DPS. Do the healer last, because the healer's gonna have pots rolling on them, plus shield every single time. They should be pretty safe, right? You want to, if you're a mage player watching this, or your cleric's telling you to dispel them first, probably not the play in my opinion. I'm never really scared on this fight. Even when I was under geared, I still wasn't very scared because I was making sure I had blessed shield on myself for every single pull-in mechanic. Anyway, the second mechanic is the boss, after doing 3 sets of purple debuffs, is going to pull the group in and then do like a vortex whirlwind mechanic. If you are a mage, you must blink out of this stun. If you are a ranger, you must evade after the stun's over. If you are a cleric, you must have blessed shield on yourself before you get pulled in, ideally, but you do have like 1 global to put yourself on it before the vortex goes out. I'll show you that in a moment. And if you are the tank, make sure you have something popped. Don't just take this shit natty unless you're very geared. So let's watch this fight. I'll talk through it from here. The only exception, I know that I said 3 purple mechanics comes out, and then you get a pull on the first pull in. It is pretty much immediately after the first purple mechanic. As you can see here, purple mechanic now. We're about to get pulled in. I have blessed shield on myself and the tank. Boom, and we're good. That's the vortex little pushback damage mechanic that does a lot of damage. Aside from that, that is the first purple mechanic that we have. We have 2 more before we get pulled in again, so really all I'm doing here is just whack-a-moling my group and making sure that nobody dies. That is the second purple mechanic. As you can see, my mages aren't dispelling. It's because we're geared. If you are a mage, please make sure you dispel your tank and yourself. Third purple mechanic, a lot of damage going out, and right now we're about to get pulled in. So you can see a couple things that I'm kind of assessing right now. One, I'm about to bless shield myself. As you can see, the bless shield goes up. That's important. You want to make sure you're blessed shield for every single pull in. And then I'm going to immediately make sure I heal my tank. That's it. That's the whole fight, guys. We're killing this very fast. When we were under geared, we would get an additional 2 phases on top of this. The damage would be astronomical. It is a harder fight, but it's just kind of like you got to get the flow of the mechanics down. So I'm going to let you watch it one more time on that 3 debuff part. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Okay, I give up. You can see that you get pulled in, and then there is a tiny little global that you have. After the pull in, you have a tiny like half a second global. So like we get pulled in, boom, you can cast 1 thing before you get knocked back, which is a good time to make sure that you have blessed shield on yourself if you forget. So that wraps up the video, guys. I hope that was somewhat informative. I kind of rambled. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section if this helped. If this didn't help, I'm a piece of shit and I'm sorry. But yeah, guys, if you have any further questions about Tower, maybe I'll try to squeeze in one of the first dungeons here soon, or a run in the first dungeon so I can make a video on that one. But hopefully this helped you guys looking to kind of break into Tower. It's really not that scary, I promise, especially if you have like 6 or 7k CR. You should be totally good to get in here and give it a whirl. But yeah, stop over by the Twitch if you have questions, guys. Happy to answer. Have a good day.